This is 63 Sandia Lane in Placitas, and we're looking at water damage today. In the skylight here you can see where there's been a leak, and the wood inside, the decorative wood inside of the skylight, but hard to see, has been water damaged on 2 of 3 sides. The other 2 sides look good, so you can see the water damage. We're going to walk through this home and highlight all the water damage. This particular piece of wall was taken out. It looks like it was for access. So this is the master bath we're leaving right now. We're going into the,
but the other guys left, like the garage.
I guess you'd call this a sitting room. And there is another skylight here. And once again, you can see the water damage at the skylight. Looks like the skylight was leaking, the water came down and pooled at the bottom, and that's why we see the water staining on the decorative wood. It's at the top as well on this one. And it's actually at the top as well on this other piece. So all 4 of the sides on this particular skylight have been water damaged. And during the repair phase, a contractor did some exploratory cuts and was able to expose some of the insulation. It's interesting on this style of insulation, which is probably installed in the 70s. You can see it's got sort of a dappled look to it. Sometimes people confuse that with mold. So I don't see, normally where we see mold is it colonizes on the paper of the gypsum. It loves the paper of insulation as well, but if there had been that much water up there, we would have seen discoloration on the fiberglass as well as the mold built up on the paper. So I don't believe we have a mold in high concentration up here, even though there was some water damage. What we notice with roofs in New Mexico is when they do get wet, they dry quickly because of the hot sun and the dry atmosphere. It takes mold, typically, what I've seen, about 9 days to colonize with the building materials at a moisture content of 60%. So typically in a ceiling, they will dry out too quickly unless there's a great amount of water that's allowed to stay in that cavity. And generally when that happens, you do see a lot of water damage, where we do have some here, but it will usually break through the drywall and puddle below. So this doesn't quite fit the mold of what I'm used to seeing. Now we're going to go from the sitting room. We're going to walk into the living room and through the formal dining room. And now we're into the kitchen. In the kitchen, there's some more skylights. It seems as though that's pretty much where the water damage has been. The penetrations for the skylights have caused it. There's some tar that you can see in the particle board that's been used here to build up the ceiling. And that could be confused for mold, but I don't believe that is. Some of the tar is in here, and you can see an exploratory cut was made here because of the bowing. I don't know if it comes out in the film, but there is a bow in the ceiling here, and that's likely water damage. So somebody made a cut there, heads up plan to see if there was mold, and what I'm seeing is just a particle board and probably tar paper, or at least some sort of tar paper that I don't believe gets used anymore. And then here by the vent you can see there's some water damage also on the ceiling. So it's likely this ceiling may be good to just have it completely replaced so that there's a nice consistent look. And then above this, the cabinets, this would be the west wall. It looks like there was some water damage that caused the particle board to bow here as well. So that appears to be water damage. Getting a good look through here to see if we find anything else. It appears that there may have been some sort of repair up in here. I don't know if that's could be water damage too. It's sort of puckered there, and by the beam here, it looks like there's a little discoloration from the water damage, and the water damage here. This may be the west wall. I thought this was the north wall, facing towards Santa Fe. I would call this the north wall more than likely. So coming into the family room, interesting fireplace here. Haven't seen a fireplace like that in a commercial setting, but very unique, very neat. And one more time, we got the look over here, just off the kitchen, a little water damage in the ceiling. You can see the discoloration. So now we're going into what I assume is the spare bedroom and the hall bath here out in the spare bedroom wing of the house. Once again, it looks like the contractor by the skylight did some exploratory cuts. You can see that there's been some water damage here. You can see where the paint has bowed. And once again, this is in the guest bathroom, the hall bathroom. And we have that sort of same dappled look on the fiberglass, but the insulation, you can see it's nice and dry. And I don't see any expansion, any swelling of the drywall, and it doesn't appear to have any mold on the paper where we'd expect it. Up here in the skylight, you can see it's been allowed to leak. We have some paint that has buckled a little bit, not so much, but right here in this corner I can see it pretty good. And back here in this corner, which is consistent with this wall where you can see the water kind of buckled the paint. One interesting thing to point out is down here at the base, water obviously is captive to gravity. Down here at the base we don't seem to have too much water damage, so there may have not been much water. And then we do have what appears to be right here a little bit of water damage, but this is not unusual by a bathtub where the water's allowed to over time sort of splash out and it creates a situation like that. I don't believe these are related. The water damage here from the shower and the water damage up towards the ceiling. So that concludes our tour through this house looking for water damage. Just real quickly check in the bedrooms. Looks good in this bedroom and this bedroom, and there don't appear to be skylights. So this concludes our tour through this very nice home in Placitas.